Hey mathematics learners, welcome to Distance Learning with Lee, where I make learning mathematics super easy. So I did mention that we're going to be analyzing a map, right, in this video tutorial. And when it comes to map analysis, being able to analyze maps, right, there are different maps that you need to, be comfortable, working with. You need to be able to, work with a strip chart, okay, or a strip map. You need to be able to work with an elevation map, right? You need to be able to work with a street map. You need to be able to work with a route map, right? You need to be able to work with a national and a provincial road map, right? Okay, and it's very important that we analyze when we are analyzing a map. Okay, we need to be able to identify, key features, okay, that are given in this map. Okay, you'll find that there are roads that are, indicated on this map. So you need to be able to, identify what type of a road is this. Is it a national road? Is it a regional road? Is it a municipal road? So N, national. R, regional road. M, it's a municipal road that is basically indicated on the map. You need to be able to, work with the compass, because your map also contains a compass there. And that compass is not there for decoration. It's there to tell you, important information. It's indicating to you where is north, okay, where is east, where is south, where is west. So that is also a key feature of the map, the compass, okay, the roads that are on the map, okay. Another thing there, when you're analyzing a map, you see those, circles. Do you see all those circles there on the map? Okay, those are they're not random dots. Okay, they're basically telling you those are the different towns and cities on the map. Okay, so you need to now be able to, when you're looking at a map, be able to pinpoint these things. Be able to work with this compass to answer the map, questions that are given to you on the map. Be able to identify, are there roads on this map? If there are, what type of roads are they? Okay, right? Be able to, see that if you're working with like a national or provincial road map, okay, what are they most likely going to ask you about? Okay, so obviously when it comes to a map like this, they're probably just going to ask you the general direction from one place to another, probably determine, if you're traveling a distance of this much for this time, what's the average speed? Okay, those are the questions that they're probably going to ask you, or maybe they'll want a clear set of direction from this place to another. Those are the types of questions that they'll ask if you're given such a map. Okay, so this is what we're going to be looking at in this video tutorial. I'm also going to be giving you, tips on what you need to do, right, when you're given such questions, right? What do these questions mean? So please make sure that you pay attention. Right, so like I mentioned, right, it's very important that when you're analyzing a map, you are able to identify the key features of this map that are going to be important when it comes to answering our questions. So when it comes to this map, we can see that we are given a compass there. Okay, what does this compass mean? So if you can just see a north that's there like that, it just means that, okay, in this map, the north is in that direction. It just means the north is in that direction. So already we can just fill in the other cardinal points, right? How? You just fill them in, moving in a clockwise direction. So north, naughty, elephant, sprays, water. Okay, that's how, the other cardinal points, should be added on this compass. So that's the one thing. Okay, another thing when we're analyzing this map, okay, we can basically see that, okay, we've got, a bold line there, a bold line there, a bold line there, right? And we're told that, right, this is a map that shows regions of KwaZulu-Natal, right? So then what do these bold lines mean? So you need to now start, what could they mean? So obviously this is Lesotho, this is Swaziland, this is Mozambique. So that could just mean, it means that now those bold lines are the borders. Okay, it's indicating that from at this point now we're in another country. At this point now we're in another country, Swaziland. Here we are in another country, Mozambique. Okay, very important. Also mention that those circles there, those are just the indicating that this circle is just saying that we are now at Greytown. That one Ulundi, that one Eshowe, that one Empangeni, that one Richards Bay. Okay, that is what those circles mean. Okay, so I think we're more than ready to start analyzing this map. Another thing, when it comes to analyzing a map, you need to be able to work with this formula. Average speed is equal to distance over time. So I'm just going to write it here. Okay, you need to be able to work with this formula. Average speed is equal to distance divided by time. Okay, so remember I gave you guys that, triangle when we were looking at BMI, and I mentioned that, this triangle, right, should look familiar because you also use it when you're calculating average speed, distance, time, right? So also it's the same thing. Distance over time. Distance is at the top, time is at the bottom, average speed obviously there. Okay, then what are the units for distance? Distance is in kilometers. Okay, time is in hours. Okay, average speed is in kilometers per hour. So very important, and it just works this exact same way. If you're taking distance divided by time, so a value at the top, value at the bottom, that just means that we are dividing. Values next to each other means that we are multiplying. Okay, so very important. Okay, because this just makes it easy for us to now manipulate, this formula and calculate whatever it is that we need. If maybe they want us to calculate average speed, what do? Distance over time. If they want us to calculate the distance traveled, it's just average speed multiplied by time. If they want us to calculate the time, it's just distance divided by average speed. Okay, so that's basically how it works. But if you watch that, BMI lesson, this should be easy for you. All right, so that's just what you need to be able to do. Just work with that formula, be able to work with the compass direction, and also be able to just analyze a map in general. Okay, so let's just quickly answer these questions that are given to us there. It says, use the information above to answer the following questions. So let's start off by just reading what is given to us there. It says, Mrs. Shabalala stays in Lesotho. Okay, so Miss Shabalala stays in Lesotho. Okay, she is planning to have a holiday in KwaZulu-Natal. So she wants to have a holiday in KZN. Below is the map she will be using to decide on places to visit. Okay, who uses a map like this to decide on places that you'd want to visit? Just an interesting question, but anyway, right? So this is a map showing regions of KwaZulu-Natal. So this map is just showing the regions of KwaZulu-Natal. It says, use the information above to answer the following questions. Question 1.1. It says, how many national roads, how many national roads is or are on the map? Okay, remember, when you're now analyzing a map, right, if you're seeing like N something, okay, that just represents that you are given, that is a national road. If you're seeing an R and a number, that's just telling us that that is a regional road. If you're seeing an M and a number, that's just telling us that is a municipal road. So if you're staying in Johannesburg, right, the M1, M2, that's a municipal road. Okay, your R21, that's your regional roads. Okay, so that's basically what you need to take note of when you're now analyzing this map. So how many national roads do we see on this map? It's just two. It's the N3 as well as the N2. So it's just two national roads. Question 1.2. Give the general direction of Ulundi from Lesotho. So it's very important. They like asking these questions where they're asking you for the general direction. Ladies and gentlemen, if they're asking you for the general direction, they just want you to give what would be the compass direction. Meaning that if you could travel in a straight line from one place to another, what would be that general direction? So the answers that they're expecting from you in these types of questions, where they're asking you for the general direction, you're either going to say north or east or south or west, or northeast, southeast, southwest, northwest, That is the general direction that they're looking for, right? So if they're wanting the general direction, let's say, for example, you're traveling from Ulundi, you're going to Frey, you're starting from Ulundi, you're going to Vryheid, ne? Right? What would be the general direction, right? So there you can just remember, okay, that's the compass is telling us that north is in that way, is in that direction. Then we already know that that is Naughty Elephant sprays water. So the general direction from Ulundi to Vryheid is what? It's northwest. So when they want the general direction, they're saying if you're just moving in a straight line from one point to another, what would be the direction that you take? Okay, so the tip here, we can just draw a compass on that point where you're starting, okay, and then the compass, right, that just makes it easy for you to determine what the general direction will be, right? So that's just basically what you need to take note of there. So now they're asking for the general direction of Ulundi from Lesotho. So here also very important, from Lesotho. They're saying that if you're starting from Lesotho, you want to go to Ulundi. Okay, from means that the town or the place or the country after the word from means that you're starting here, you're starting there, and you're going there. So you're starting at Lesotho, you're going to Ulundi. What would be the general direction? So if you could move in a straight line, what would be the general direction? So if you're starting from Lesotho, remember, you can just draw your compass there at the top, right? This is Naughty, okay, Elephant sprays water. So what do we see? We said, okay, the general direction. If you going from Lesotho, you're going to Ulundi, it's just what? It's in between north and east. Ne? So I'm sorry if you can't see this properly. It's in between north and east. So it's just going to be north east. You're starting from Lesotho to Ulundi. So the general direction will be northeast. Okay, question 1.3. Question 1.3 is asking, give the name of the province that is on the east of Lesotho. Okay, so now we're analyzing this, right? Okay, we want the name of the province that is on the east of Lesotho. So what's that province that is on the east? Because this is Lesotho. What's on the east? Okay, what is on the east of Lesotho? We can see that on the east we've got what? We've got, you know, Umhlanga Rocks, we've got Ballito, we've got Durban, right? So that basically means that the province that is on the east of Lesotho, it's KwaZulu-Natal. That is the province, okay? Because remember, at the end of the day, they did mention that this map is showing regions of KwaZulu-Natal. So the province that is on the east, okay, it is KwaZulu-Natal, but also to help us know that it's KwaZulu-Natal, you can see the different towns there, cities there, Durban, Ballito, right? So definitely it's KwaZulu-Natal. Right, let's have a look at the next questions. It says that the distance from Lesotho to Ulundi is 734 kilometers. Mrs. Shabalala is driving at an average speed of 120 kilometers per hour. How long will it take him? I think they meant her. How long would it take her to reach Ulundi? Leave your answer in hours and minutes. Okay, so now this question is very important, okay, because now it's tapping into, you know, conversions, how you're supposed to convert and things like that, okay, how you convert time, remember, okay, so please, you need to make sure that you're now listening carefully. All right, so now what is happening here? If they're telling us that the distance from Lesotho to Ulundi, I'm just going to do the solutions here. Question 1.4, the distance, they're giving us that the distance from Lesotho to Ulundi, okay, is equal to 734 kilometers, okay, and they're telling us that she's driving at an average speed of 120 kilometers per hour. How long will it take? So we're looking for time. How long will it take him to reach Ulundi? Right, so remember, they will give you this formula. Average speed is equal to distance over time. They're telling you that the units for distance needs to be kilometers. The units for time needs to be in hours, right? But now you need to know how to manipulate, this formula to determine time, right? So here, remember, they've just given us that formula that we're supposed to use, that average speed is equal to distance over time. Okay, so remember, from this you can just create that triangle for yourself. Okay, we've discussed this, and the reason why we create this triangle, we're just trying to make our lives a bit easy for us, right? If we are asked to determine time, because here it's not a matter of just substituting distance over time. We need to now change this formula so that it's now time is equal to something over something. Okay, so just to ensure that we don't make any mistakes, what do? Just distance at the top. Okay, distance at the top, time at the bottom. Okay, obviously here it's average speed. Okay, then we know that the units for distance needs to be kilometers, for time needs to be hours, for average speed it's kilometers per hour, right? Then we know, right, at the bottom here, if they're next to each other, we're multiplying. Top and bottom, we are dividing, right? So what do we need to do here? We need to calculate time. So based on this triangle, how do we calculate time? If we want time, okay, what do we need to do? Time is equal to distance over average speed. Okay, so remember, as long as your distance is in kilometers and your average speed is in kilometers per hour, then the answer that you'll get will give you time in hours. So now all that we need to do is we want to substitute now into this formula. Né? What's our distance? It's 734 kilometers divided by what's our average speed? Our average speed is 120 kilometers per hour. Okay, so therefore, what's the time that it takes for her to travel from Lesotho to Ulundi? It's 734 divided by 120, which is actually equal to 6.116. I'm just going to round it off to 4 decimal places. 7 hours. So that's the time that it will take for Mrs. Shabalala to travel from Lesotho to Ulundi. Né? But remember, the question is asking us, right, to leave your answer in hours and minutes. So we can already see that our answer is not in hours and minutes, but it's just in hours. So if they're saying you need to leave it in hours and minutes, they're just saying that now. You need to obviously figure out what are the hours and what are the minutes. So we can already see that from this basically means that, okay, the time that it will take her, it will be 6 hours. So you can break this up, okay? It's 6 hours plus 0.1167 hours. This is not minutes. It's still hours, okay? So we need to just break up, this decimal into a whole number and the decimal part. So the whole number is 6 hours plus that 0.1167, and that 0.1167 is 0.1167 hours. And then now, all that we need to do, we just need to convert. We just need to convert those hours of 0.1167 into minutes, because the question is asking us to convert it to hours and minutes. So how do we convert that? Because we need to leave that. This is the whole number. It's 6 whole hours. That's fine. We don't have to change that. We just need to change that, decimal part into minutes, because that decimal is representing the minutes. Okay, so how do you convert hours to minutes? We know that 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. Okay, so that just means that now to convert that 0.1167, I take 0.1167 hours multiplied by what we want. This is, I promise you, as long as you are converting. As long as you are converting, use the equation, multiply by what you want, divide. Even in exchange rates, it works. As long as you're converting something to something else, it works. Multiply by what you want. So in this case, we're trying to determine the minutes. So we want the minutes. So you multiply by what you want, 60 minutes. Okay, divide by what we have, 1 hour. Okay, so 0.1167 multiplied by 60 divided by 1 we're actually going to get 7.002 minutes. Okay, so that basically means that, okay, the time that it will take Mrs. Shabalala, it'll be 6 hours, and okay, that number or that value converted into minutes is just 0.002 minutes, and we are done. Okay, very important there. Okay, right. Question number 1.5, it says Mrs. Shabalala will first go to Free State to pick up her son. So we are told that she wants to first go to Free State. That's where she wants to go. She wants to go to Free State because she wants to pick up her son. Okay. Her car's fuel consumption is 19.62 kilometers per liter. So that's just giving us the consumption of a car. And the cost of petrol is 17 Rand per liter. Give a clear set of directions for the Chabalala to get to Mpangeni, where they plan to spend a day with a family friend before going to Ulundi. So now this question is asking us to give a clear set of directions. So now, ladies and gentlemen, if they're asking for a clear set of direction, you're not now moving in a straight line. Okay, we're not just moving from, Free State to Mpangeni in a straight line. No. Okay, when I want a clear set of direction, they're saying now you need to take note of the roads there. Okay, right? What road must she use? In what direction must she, move? Okay, and then what other road is she using, and in which direction will she travel along that road? Okay, so when I want a clear set of direction, they're saying if for example, if someone asked you, how do I get to your house from Pick n Pay, right? You would obviously give them a clear set of directions, because they'd say, okay, from Pick n Pay, you are going to now take a left onto this road, then you're going to pass the first robot and then the second robot, and on the third robot, right, you're going to turn right onto this road. Do you get what I'm saying? So when you're giving a clear set of direction, now you are being clear on the route that they need to take. We are not just assuming that a person is, moving in a straight line the way we do when they're asking for a general direction. Okay, so please be able to, work or understand the difference between the two. So what would be the clear set of directions that, that Mrs. Shabalala would have to, the route that she'd have to take to get to Mpangeni? So she wants to get to Mpangeni, that's where she wants to get, and obviously from the Free State. So what would be the clear set of directions? Let's first now, before you give a clear set of directions, just highlight the route that she'll take. Do you see? She'll get onto the N3, and then she'll pass Pietermaritzburg, then she'll get onto the N2, and she'll pass Richardsburg, then she'll reach Mpangeni. So now let's give a clear set of directions, right? So what would be the clear set of directions, right? So we'll say that from the Free State, she's going to obviously, from the Free State, she's going to move in the southeast direction, okay, onto the N3, okay? So she's going to get into the N3 and travel, okay, along the N3 in the southeast direction. So she's going to travel along the N3 in the southeast direction, okay? She's going to travel along the N3 in the southeast direction, and after she's passed, right, obviously look at the last tab. After she's passed Pietermaritzburg, right, then she's going to move in what direction is this? In the northeast direction along the N2, okay? After passing Pietermaritzburg, she will turn northeast onto the N2. Then what is happening here, right? Then she's going to pass Richards Bay, right? So always just mention that last town that you pass. Then she's going to pass Richards Bay, and Mpangeni will be on the left. Okay, so she will continue driving along the N2. Okay, after she's passed Richards Bay, okay, capital letter, okay, Mpangeni will be on her left. Okay, so that's basically how you're supposed to, give a clear set of directions. Okay, know the difference. Clear set of direction, general direction. That's just, the tips when it comes to analyzing maps. You need to know the difference between the two. Okay, so let's have a look at the next question. How many liters of petrol will Mrs. Shabalala need for the return trip from Lesotho to Ulundi, right? So now they want us to determine how many liters of petrol will she need. Okay, so now remember, here we were given, two important rates there for the consumption, fuel consumption, and for the cost of petrol. Remember, I've said this. If you're given rates, try to see if you can change the rate into an equation. Once you can change the rate into an equation, you can just calculate whatever it is that they want you to calculate. So how can we change that rate into an equation? 19.2 kilometers per liter. What does that mean? Okay, 19.2 kilometers per liter. It basically means that, right, 1 liter, okay, with 1 liter, you'll be able to travel 19.62 kilometers. Okay, so this is an equation that we can use to help us, right, if you have to determine fuel consumption. Okay, right? And then the other equation for the cost of petrol, what is the equation that we're supposed to use there, right? 17 Rand per liter. So it means that 1 liter is equal to 70 Rand. So if you want to buy 1 liter, you have to pay 70 Rand. So now that we have these equations, life becomes a breeze.
You get my point.
Okay. How many liters of petrol will Mrs. Shabalala need for a return trip to Ulundi? Remember, just for her to go to Ulundi, how many kilometers will she travel? Okay, just for her to go to Ulundi, how many kilometers will she travel? So remember, we said that the distance from Lesotho to Ulundi was equal to 700. So the distance that she travels, okay, just to go from Lesotho to Ulundi, okay, is equal to 734 kilometers. But now they're saying that, okay, it's a return trip. So she's not just going, but she's going and she's coming back. So if she's going and she's coming back, she's not going to just, travel 734 kilometers, but she's going to travel 734 kilometers multiplied by 2. Okay, so if you take 734 multiplied by 2, what do you get? 1,468 kilometers. So that's basically the total number of kilometers that she'll travel from Lesotho to Ulundi. So now, how many liters? Because this question is asking us to determine how many liters of petrol will she need. Okay, now we're going to go back to the equation that tells us about fuel consumption. Okay, remember we said the equation that tells us about fuel consumption, okay, just tells us that with 1 liter you'll be able to travel 19.62 kilometers. Okay, so now we're going to take this because you now know how many kilometers she'll have to travel. Okay, she'll have to travel 1,468 kilometers. So how much petrol will she need? Okay, then you're just going to take, therefore, we're just going to take the 1,468 kilometers, multiply by what you want. You want the liters of petrol that she'll need. Multiply by what you want, divide by what you have, okay, which is 19.62 kilometers. You'll see that you're doing the right thing because the kilometers and kilometers will cancel. You can't use the rand one. You can't multiply by 17 rand or it's not going to work, okay? That one, the rands are not going to cancel. Right, so that is why we have to use the fuel consumption because we're just trying to determine how much fuel or how many liters of petrol will she need. So 1,468 multiplied by 1 divided by 19.62, you will get that she'll actually need 74.82 liters of petrol if you just round it off to 2 decimal places. So that's how much petrol she will need, okay, to go from Lesotho to Ulundi and also come back. Okay, so we just needed to use that equation that spoke about fuel consumption. All right, cool stuff. Let's have a look at question 1.5.3. Hence, calculate the amount of money that Mrs. Shabalala will need. Okay, if they're saying hence, ladies and gentlemen, they're just saying using your answer from the previous question, use that to determine the amount of money that you will need for petrol. Okay, so we found that now. Okay, if she is going to be obviously, using 74.82 liters of petrol, how much then would she pay for those liters? How much would she then pay for those liters? So it's just going to be 74.82 liters. Obviously, we're going to be working with that amount. And we're going to be working with that other equation, okay, that tells us about the cost of petrol. Remember, okay, that other equation that tells us about the cost of petrol. It told us that 17 liters is equal, 17 rand, sorry, 17 rand, okay, will basically, if you want 1 liter, you need to pay 17 rand, okay. So all that we need to do, we take 74.82 liters multiplied by 17 rand divided by 1, okay. Multiply by what you want. You want the how much will you pay divided by 1. So the liters will cancel, and then if you take that 74.82, you multiply by 17, basically see that, okay, she will have to pay 1,271.94, okay, for petrol if she wants to go from Lesotho to Ulindi and come back again. Right, so I hope that makes sense. So I think you should, at this point, you need to see what's happening here, right? You need to see if you're given a rates, change them into an equation. It just simplifies your life. It just makes it so easy for you, to multiply by what you want, divide by what you have. Okay, it's a no-brainer. Okay, so just think about that. If you've given a rate, just make these mini notes for yourself. Okay, make these mini notes for yourself where you're writing these, these rates as equations, because it just makes your life that much easier. Question 1.5.4, give a reason why there is a bold line between Lesotho and South Africa. Okay, why is there a bold line between Lesotho and South Africa? Why is this, what is this line for? This bold line. Right, so that bold line, it's a border. It just indicates that it's a border. So you've got two different countries. This is the one country, this is another country. It's that border is separating those different countries. All right, so it's a border line. Okay, great stuff. So that is it for today's video tutorial, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed, this detailed analysis of this map, and I hope you took, you got the important points, that when you're analyzing a map, you need to look for the important features. Okay, the compass, are the national roads on the map, the towns there, okay, what's happening, are there borders? Look for anything that's, that pops up that is different. Okay, because you see those bold lines there, they're not there for decoration. Okay, so you need to now start, developing that thing, right? That when you're analyzing a map, you're looking for these things. Is there a key? Does your map have a key, right? Okay, if it has a compass, what does this compass mean? Okay, so please make sure that you're looking at that, right? What's the difference between general direction and a clear set of direction? General direction, you're moving in a straight line. Okay, but clear set of direction, you need to be more specific. A person needs to turn here and get into this road and, move in this northeast. You need to make use of the compass when you're giving a clear set of direction using a map, right? And then from there, I spoke about, obviously, this triangle, how you're supposed to use it to help, determine unknowns. If they want time, what do you need to do? If they want distance, what do you need to do? If they want average speed, what do you need to do? Okay, so that's all for today's video tutorial, ladies and gentlemen. Please just comment down below, I made it, if you managed to finish the whole entire video tutorial, because I know this one was a bit longer, right? So in the next video tutorial, we're going to be analyzing this last map. And then we're going to be looking at a strip chart, okay? And then from there, I think, I think that would be enough, because layout plans are not hard, okay? Elevation plans are not really hard, but you can tell me if you also want me to, go through those with you, I'll do them, okay? But I feel like after just going through this one and the strip charts, I think that we're more than ready to jump onto finance and look at, bank tariffs, taxation, if there's UIF, pension fund contributions, what do we do? Donations, what do we do? Look at that, okay, the harder concepts. So you'll just let me know what you guys think. And also don't forget, guys, please share the video tutorials. Let's get them all, let's get them to over like 1,000 views. much. Okay, thank you so much, guys, and I'll see you guys on my next upload.
That is it, guys, and I'll see you guys on my next upload, Distance Learning with Lee, where I make learning mathematics super easy. Bye, guys.